Go.
Hi, thanks for joining me. My name is Mary Giuliano, and with me today is my friend Andy Cohen. Andy,
Hi, Mary.
thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Now I'm going to find out all the things about you that I never knew before today, right?
Holy cow. You've known a lot, though.
Maybe a little bit. But first of all, you are the general manager of a couple of ski hills, maybe more.
No, just two is enough.
Just two's enough? Kimberly and Fernie?
Yes.
And you've been doing that job for at least 20 years, I think.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think that's how I met you, was because I saw you walking down Main Street with a couple of your friends singing a few times, and I said, this is one happy guy. I want to know him.
Cool.
No, it's true. I remember that.
That's fun.
Mhm.
That's been fun. What would you like to know?
Well, I want to know how you got to Fernie, although it's obvious that it was because of your job. But before that, how did you hear about Fernie?
Well, actually, I didn't get here because of my job. I came here as a developer of real estate.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I did not know that.
Yeah, I bought some land from the previous company, Resorts of Canadian Rockies Ltd. When that owner went into bankruptcy, we formed a new company. No, but that's originally how I got here. Was you remember Matt Mosteller?
Yeah.
Well, my buddy Matt. I've known Matt since he was about 20, and actually we met him on the glacier in Whistler when he was a ski coach, and I was selling lane space on the glacier, and my wife was a ski coach, and Matt hired my wife Carol to be a coach, and we've been friends ever since. And one day Matt called me up and he said, you should get out here, it's pretty cool, and look at some stuff. So that's how originally I got here, was buying land and to develop, and that's what started it.
Wow. See, I knew I'd find out something I didn't know about you.
There you go.
So you've been here because you lived in Kimberley for a few years, but you were coming back and forth because.
Yeah. I've been involved with both resorts for 19 years, and we lived in Kimberley for 10 and raised our kids there. They went to high school there, and my oldest son now lives back there. He's the head of the ski club, the Alpine Racing and Freestyle program in Kimberley now, after doing that job over here for a while, working with the club here. And then about 9.5 years ago, we moved here full time, and I was fortunate enough to develop some property on the Trickle Creek golf course in Kimberley. So Carol and I did a townhome development there, and came here and loved every minute of it.
Well, what have you seen during these years of Fernie changing? How, with your perspective, how do you think Fernie has changed?
I think Fernie has undergone a bit of an evolution that I've seen in a lot of towns that, primarily the economy is based on resource extraction. Of course, in the Elk Valley it still is, but there's been a lifestyle component really developed, kind of matured. It was always here, but it's developed the recreational outdoor lifestyle that is pretty prevalent in pretty much the workforce for both tech and obviously Fernie Alpine Resort and a bunch of other businesses in town, all the small businesses. Yeah, and it's kind of fun. So it's the just kind of the focus of the recreation, snowmobiling, obviously alpine skiing and fly fishing in the backcountry, and so the town, and mountain biking is huge. Obviously the town has become much busier in the summer.
Yeah.
And kids are back. There's kids everywhere, as we all know.
Oh yeah.
There's lots of kids, lots of families, and it's super fun to see that.
That is so true, because being raised here in Fernie, after grade 12, there would be like this mass exodus of everybody. All the students that graduated would leave, and basically it was more of an older people's town. But now we have a lot of young families and a lot of little kids.
Yeah, the next generation is definitely, of course, with technology, so people can live here, work here, commute from here. And it's great.
It certainly is. Now, I know aside from your job that you are a fantastic volunteer in this town. And
I don't know if I'm fantastic, but
yes, you are.
I've been involved in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
One of them being FIRE, which stands for.
The Fernie inspiration to, let's see, let me ask Grace.
I know what it is.
Yeah, no.
To inspire
yeah,
and
empower, yeah.
Yeah, right.
But they've changed their name, that's why I've lost track of that.
Oh.
Yeah, now it's Fernie Disabled Skiing, I believe.
Is that what it? So this must be a recent change.
Yeah, it's the last
Okay.
year and a half to change for, I think, Society Act stuff. They had to
Oh,
change their name.
I really liked the word
Yeah.
fire because it caught everybody's attention.
Yeah. Well, Grace caught and still catches everybody's attention.
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yeah, that's
So-
been a good program. It's
Yeah, so tell me a little bit
7-8
about
years
what.
now.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that program.
Well, it was a program. It was Grace's vision to build an adaptive skiing program. So what we just did was help and help guide through getting access to the mountain. FIRE has it's a charitable organization involved with a lot of fundraising, and they've done a great job over the years. I was on the board for. I may still be on the board. I'm not sure, but we were very involved for the first 3 or 4 years, and then Grace obviously took it and got a whole new group of volunteers, and it's pretty exciting. There's kids from all over that come and learn how to slide on snow and have freedom that they may not have experienced, if they've been.
Because they get to actually sit on what they call a sit ski, right? Which is.
Yeah, kids who can't use their lower body can do that on a sit ski. The program is open to blind people. There's anybody with physical disabilities. There's a program basically for them to learn how to ski and experience that, and that's really cool. Some of the kids, when you see their first time, or they've had the first experience of gliding and the freedom and the wind in their face, and they may not have ever experienced that before. So that's pretty cool. And Grace and the board have done her mom has worked really hard over the years to build that program. There's buildings at the bottom of our timber chair where they keep their equipment and meet every Sunday for instruction, and it's pretty cool. You've seen some of Grace's adventures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
Grace is really exceptional with her disabilities of what she can accomplish
Oh, yeah.
or what she has accomplished.
She's done more in skiing than I ever have. So I've
She
never
went
helicopter
heli
skiing.
skiing, I
She went
remember.
heli skiing, cat skiing.
Mhm.
I remember the first day they called me and said, "We want to take Grace to the top of Polar Peak," and I said, "Oh my!" And but Scott, her companion, have worked really hard, and she's had a lot of great adventures.
And there's a lot of volunteers with that group too,
Yeah.
isn't there? I mean, this is something that couldn't be done without all the volunteers.
Oh yeah, people volunteer for instruction. I mean, and we're in the parade every year with the float. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and it does take charitable contributions. So keep that in mind, everybody. Got to help FIRE out and the Fernie Disabled Skiing Society.
And
Keep
a
them
lot
going.
of them are really, young because Grace was what, 16, 17
When
she
Grace started,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah, this is kind of a Grace story, but she's pretty amazing.
She is.
Yeah.
She really is. And so, what else are you involved with?
Well, holy cow, I've worked closely with Ted Reuter in the fire department on kind of emergency preparation.
Mhm.
I was involved with that. I was on the OCP committee for the last OCP. I don't think a new one's come out
No,
since then.
not yet.
Um,
That was a 2.5 year.
that was 2.5 year process for a 5-year
Mhm.
statute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
pretty classic. And yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that we do in the community. Different, Tourism Fernie was one of the people that started that with a bunch of people, Mike Delich and the Vikowskis and John Burrow when he was at Island Lake. Yeah, so tourism, recreation, there's lots of stuff going on here.
It's a busy town.
It's busy. It's
Yeah.
getting busier.
It's a small town, but it's busy, and it says, it has some of the same things that a large town, a large center has. And it's got these marvelous volunteers like you that are making things happen.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in Fernie that help in all kinds of ways, and like you say, it's
A lot
Not
of
much would
those
happen.
people you see in all the different, you see the same faces in a lot of different committees and
yeah.
organizations that.
Oh yeah, you look at all the people who built all the mountain bike trails and the Wapiti Gang,
Yeah.
the whole music festival.
Yeah,
It takes a lot of
exactly.
time. I think this is their 10th year.
Yeah, I think they were celebrating 10 years.
Yeah, so it's hard to believe. It seems like it just started.
Yeah.
We just had our first Wapiti. And
I don't
Yeah.
know, time is flying by us too quickly.
yes. Yeah, it's an amazing town. I tell people in orientation when we bring on new people every year that they'll be suckered in. I take about 30 pictures a day here. I said it's crazy. I told them, I said, you guys will be walking out with all your Black Friday items from Canadian Tire, and you'll look up and you'll see the Three Sisters, and you go, oh my, and you'll put down there's my phone. You'll put down the.
Well, you can take it.
Oh, can I? I should just turn this off. That's what I should do. Just turn the sound off. Yeah, but I was this year. I was telling people that you'll come out of Canadian Tire with an armful of Black Friday deals, and they'll look up and they'll see the Three Sisters, and they'll put all their stuff down, and they'll dig out their camera out of their pocket, and they'll take their 57th picture of the Three Sisters, because every time it's just different and beautiful, and the light's different. And
Oh, yeah.
that's Fernie.
You know what I found amazing? If you go to Montaigne and you look at the Three Sisters on Fernie Mountain, it looks like it's right there, and it looks so huge.
Yeah.
From where I live in Maintown on 3rd Avenue, I will look at it and it looks like it's really far away.
Yeah.
And yet, Montaigne is further away from the mountain than I am, but it's the height, right?
Yeah.
Because Montaigne
Because
is
you
higher.
climb up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
so
it's
beautiful.
a startling place. And
Yeah.
I've lived in mountain communities all over North America, and Fernie is the ring of mountains all the way around. I love standing at the golf course and looking around, or it's just amazing from everywhere. And
It is.
thank God we don't have to pay and develop Kodak film like we used to in the old days.
I know.
So we have an unlimited budget of electronic images, and
Mhm.
but it's never ending, and sometimes it's kind of crazy, because when you're driving, you see some of the most amazing things, and
Mhm.
yeah, it can definitely distract you. It's a startling place.
It is, and it actually can boast being the only city completely encircled by the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's a fact.
We're blessed. Well, I know you have those facts. Yeah.
I did learn a few things
Yeah.
over living in Fernie all my life, just about my whole entire life. Where were you born, Andy?
I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, in 1956. Yeah.
I would love to go and see Baltimore. For some reason, that name, I think there used to be a show on television
Oh,
called.
Diner. I think Diner was filmed in Baltimore. Is that what you were talking about?
It was a show that I watched a few times, and I always thought it was a police show, I think, and
Oh.
I just thought I would like to go to Baltimore, but I haven't made it.
It's changed, and that's
Yeah.
another town that's gone through a massive transformation, and it's beautiful now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Yep, go Ravens.
Do you get back there very often?
Uh, Probably more often when my folks were alive. Now that they've passed, it's probably less often. But well, we have a family reunion still every 5 years, and I have lots of cousins and nephews and stuff that people who still live there. So yeah, we get back. Try to get once a year. Yeah.
Well, you are now a Canadian citizen.
I am. Thank you very much for signing my application.
Hey, it was a pleasure, believe me.
Yeah, that was in 2012.
Yeah. Gee, it's been that long already.
Isn't it crazy?
Wow. It just seems the other day.
Yeah. That's great. Very proud. Proud of this country, proud of what it stands for, and obviously being from the States, you listen to a lot of crazy stuff, so I'm glad I'm not there. I'm glad I'm here. That's great.
So have you lived most of your adult life in Canada then?
No,
No?
I lived in Colorado for 17 years. I first came to Canada to Whistler. I lived in Whistler for a while. I landed in Vancouver in 1989, and I ended up buying a ski area with my wife in New Brunswick, of all places.
Oh, living on one side of the country and buying on the other side?
Yeah, we bought this little ski area called Poley Mountain, and it's still there and it's thriving. And yeah, it
And you
was
still own it?
very. No, we
Oh.
sold it in 1999. Bought it in 1991. We had it for 8 years, and yeah, very close to the Bay of Fundy, highest tides in the world. So crazy snowfalls out there. It's the only place I've ever been where I saw the wings of a 737 buried under an Atlantic storm. Pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, the ski area was closed for 3 days. You couldn't go anywhere. It was one of those Atlantic storms, and I had just flown in from the Boston Ski Show to Halifax, and then landed in Moncton. Got off the plane in Moncton, and the plane next to us was buried. I've never seen that anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't want to see it again either.
Well, I wouldn't mind it some days here. It's we get a lot of snow here, which is we're pretty blessed. So yeah.
So all your children were born in the U.S.?
No, my children were adopted. They're all adopted. 2 are from Victoria, and 1 was from Seattle. But we adopted all our kids when we lived in Whistler. Yeah.
So they're Canadians as well?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Carol too. You guys have had lots of experience with buying and selling, it sounds like, and different developments. No wonder Carol is such a good realtor.
Yeah.
'Cause she knows a whole lot. She
Yeah.
never brags either. She's just like you.
Yeah, she. You learn when you have your own development, your own product that you have to sell. You learn actually how to sell it. Yeah, and you have to. Carol's great at is teaching people, sharing the vision of what it would be like to own and be in Fernie, and she's good at that.
Yeah, she's very, very good.
Yeah. She creates the story for people, how their life would unfold, and people get excited about that. It's good.
And do you still own that RV park in the Kootenai?
We own a little RV park in Marina on Kootenai Lake in Balfour. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of crazy. So yeah, we're Kootenai people. We love the creation story I first heard it from Joe Pierre.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Joe was on the college board, was on the board of the College of the Rockies, and Joe was on the board with me, and he mesmerized us for about 3.5 hours. He said that was a short version, but I love the story of the creation story before humans were in these parts, from St. Mary's Bend to Naw, and it's pretty amazing.
Joe Pierre is a really good storyteller.
Yeah.
He really can mesmerize you with his stories.
He's a good guy, and
he's a teacher, or he was a teacher.
Yeah,
his students must have been
yeah.
so fortunate.
But with our involvement in Kootenai Lake, and obviously here in Fernie, we love the Kootenays. It's one of the most special parts of the world. There's no question about it.
I used to think that we had aunts and uncles who lived in California. Actually, they were my parents' uncles and aunts. But every summer they would come and visit Fernie on their way to Calgary, as they used to call it, Calgary. And I remember when I was 12, one of the uncles said to me, "Oh, Fernie's a nice place." And I said to him, "No, Fernie is so beautiful." And he looked at me and he goes, "Mary, there's lots more beautiful places in the world." And I remember I've never forgotten that. And I remember thinking, no, you're wrong. Fernie is the most beautiful place. Of course, now that I'm an adult, I realize, when I became an adult, I realized that there are very many beautiful places in the world, and there's different types of beauty, right? But Fernie still has this freshness about it with the mountains and the greenery, and you know, it's just, it really is.
We're pretty blessed. For any
Yeah.
people, you're pretty blessed to be here, that's for sure.
It is. It's so true. It's a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to be brought up and to bring up children. It's a great place. The whole, as you said, the whole Kootenays are a wonderful, magical place.
Yeah, when you listen to the creation story, it ties, that story ties the whole Kootenay region together, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Giant sturgeons in the Kootenay River.
They probably were big, really giant
Yeah.
back then.
It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
How's life post-politics?
It's been quite interesting, and not at all you know, for a while I thought, oh, what will I do after I'm done? And it's been actually really good, because I'm really enjoying the free time, because now I can do things like this project, which I had to give up when you know, I tried doing the show for 3-4 years after I was mayor, but it was difficult to coordinate the person filming, the guest, and myself, because there were so many meetings all the time.
Sure.
So now I don't have as much free time as I thought I would have.
You would, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who's retired or changed careers that has more time.
No, all you do is have other things that you do.
That's right.
And that's great. It's great. I still love Fernie. I had people asking me if I was going to move, and I said, really? Well, why would you think I would move from a place I love, that I spent most of my life?
Where would you go?
That's better than Fernie. Exactly.
I don't know where you'd go. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
That's
so, what's new with you and Carol? Because I haven't seen you for a little while.
Well, we're
Is your house-
she's working, and yeah, we built a house this summer, and yeah, our kids our oldest got married. This is kind of boring stuff, folks.
No, it's interesting.
Our oldest got married last February in Kimberley, and our youngest daughter is about to be married. We're going to be grandparents.
Congratulations.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we're going to be grandparents hopefully end of May. So.
That is amazing, because
Yeah.
my Brandon and his wife are going to be parents in May. So we're going to both be new grandparents in May.
Awesome. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's a big circle.
It sure is.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's wonderful.
Everybody says this stage is great, everybody, but we'll see.
Are you talking about the golden years?
No, just everybody loves being a grandparent, and my wife's Carol's really excited, obviously, and I'm really excited, but I worry more. I'm like, oh, what if something goes wrong? You know.
No, don't worry.
I know you don't want anything bad to happen to your kids.
Yeah,
so
I know.
That's part of the journey. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, parents are going to worry regardless, right?
Yeah. I'll let them worry for me.
Yes. Well, you can't help it. Sometimes worry just creeps over you, but you got to just be trusting that things will work out for the best, always.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else about Fernie that you might want to see in the future?
Well, I think I think regular transportation. I mean, it's the same thing that everybody always talks about: regular transportation. Viable meeting space. A bunch of people worked really hard to bring in International Snow Science Workshop next October. Mm-hmm. There could be 1,000 delegates, and it'd be great to have more of that. But Fernie is you know, again, because of the volunteers, the trail capacity. Like I have friends from all over the world that come to Fernie to ride a bike, and a lot of them it has nothing to do with the lifts in the mountain. It's just the amazing trail system that's been developed around Fernie.
And that's what needs to be, I need to mention that we've had people like Pat Gilmar and a few of the other original members of what is now the Trails Alliance, although I think I read that they've just changed the name again. It's
Yeah.
no longer the Trails Alliance, it's something to do with...
You gotta change your name.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, those people started building trails 30 plus
Oh,
years
yeah.
ago, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
So they had the vision to understand how
Yeah.
important trails were to a community.
Yeah.
And I just applaud those people that did that,
Yeah.
that had the vision. You know, it's people who have vision that can actually see what would be good for a community. And, you know, just like with the ski hill where Heiko and others got together and,
Sure.
you know, because if
Yeah.
it wasn't for the ski hill, that was the first beginning really real thing that brought Fernie attention and started tourism as big as it is now.
And it's the thing that everybody shares is the passion for the mountains.
Yeah.
You know, even you know, Pat Gilmore and all those people were just so passionate about mountains and hiking around, and obviously Heiko was, and you know, Linda still is. I mean, they're out every day, and it's pretty amazing. And it just it drives a lot of people. Terry Nelson, there's just a lot of people that's what they do, and that's what drew me. I mean, I grew up in the Chesapeake Bay, and I knew that I wanted to be in the mountains since I was 14. So I was really lucky, and I was able to make it happen and spend my life doing it. So.
Well, we certainly appreciate you being here, Andy, because you've really contributed. You've worked hard for the city of Fernie in different ways as a volunteer with all the different committees with the city of Fernie. So you've been instrumental in the shuttle. That's something you didn't mention, but I know because I was on that committee, and I know that.
Well, I first sat down with yourself and Norm to talk about the concept. So yeah, but through people working together, we can do a lot.
Yeah.
And that's.
But you always need somebody who's willing to move ahead and initiate things and push ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I think Fernie has a lot of that.
Well, I really want to thank you for
agreeing.
Okay.
Are we doing our?
I just want to bring us back to the topic of the. It's a science of snow. It's the avalanche and snow.
The International
Science
Snow Science Workshop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which attracts hundreds and hundreds of scientists from all over the world. And Fernie was actually really fortunate that they had a steering committee that was initiated by Steve Kite.
Steve Kate?
And you were part of that,
Yeah.
that steering
I
committee.
helped with that originally, Mike Delich and I and others who, Steve had the idea. It's a week-long workshop that's rotates all over the world, and we got together. We thought it'd be a great event for Fernie, obviously with the huge avalanche control program we have and Highways has, and all the snow and all the steep mountains we have. So we got money together and sent Christine Grimble and Steve, I think, to Breckenridge to pitch us to get the 2020 version, and we were successful.
Because that is every 4 years or every 2 years? I can't recall now.
It's not. It's when they want to do it.
Oh.
So
okay.
yeah, I don't think it's as regular as I've asked that question. But anyway, they're coming to Fernie. Andre Levine is very involved with putting it together and the fundraising. There's a whole board for it, and they expect between 800 and 1,000 delegates, which is a great thing for Fernie to have.
And I think the last one was held in, was it France or was it the U.S.?
I think it was in Breckenridge.
Okay.
Just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it was in Breckenridge in Colorado, and like I say, I think our delegation went down and got the bid.
yeah, they were able to convince them that this would be a great place to come and hold such an event. And I
And
know
before
that,
Breckenridge, Mary, I think it was Innsbruck.
yes, and that was in France, right? No,
No, Austria.
Austria. Yeah. Yeah, so Fernie was in competition with a few other places in the world that, you know, I think we're probably very surprised that a little town like Fernie was
Yeah.
awarded that. But I have no doubt it will turn out to be a great event.
Yeah, it's great. We're gonna fully use the facilities we have.
Mm-hmm.
The
The arena.
the arena will be
Yeah.
the big lecture hall
Yeah,
for all the delegates at once, and
and if I remember correctly, they were going to put some big tents outside the arena.
yeah. Well, the curling rink it's changed a little bit since I was involved originally because of the access to the different parts of
Yeah.
the building. But I believe that the curling area is going to be part of the trade show hall.
Mhm.
And then obviously the community center and tents if you need it, and different places, different tours, and yeah, it'll be a bunch of like 1,000 people who deal with snow science and
Mhm.
avalanche work and how that all fits together, all trying to keep people safe and understand it around the world. So,
I would imagine that will get a lot of media attention as well.
yeah, I hope so.
So it'll put Fernie on the map if it wasn't already, which I
Yeah,
think it
it'll
is.
it should be a good event. Hopefully
Mhm.
it's next October 9th or
Yeah,
and they hope it's-
2020.
yeah, good
Mhm.
weather and
Yeah, and this year we've had some good weather in October, so hopefully it will be the same
it'll
for
be
this
fun.
event. And can you talk a little bit about some of the changes at the ski hill?
Well, the ski industry is really in a state of flux. The issues with obviously climate change and staffing and housing and government regulation and so many other issues. The internet changes everything that we do. Yeah, the market knows, people know as much about weather as we do now. So you have to have good weather and you have to have really good snow, and if you don't, people stop coming, right? Because they know. So it's a really challenging business. I've been in it. This is my 48th season in the ski business, and it's really changed. So the whole environment to do business is tougher than it's ever been.
Have there been any actual additions or changes to the hill itself?
Well, we don't really have an issue with capacity. We have plenty of terrain, and we don't have very long lift lines. And
How many, oh my goodness, I hate it when I get a mental block. How many runs are there?
there's 110 runs, but in Fernie, you ski everywhere. So
okay.
there's 110 marked runs or named runs, but we have. It's funny. An old friend of mine was the vice president of marketing for Jackson Hole in Wyoming, and he came to visit, and he said that Fernie was the coolest place he's ever been because you can ski anywhere. So it's it's quite open. We do a lot of brushing in between trees and glades, and always try to clean it up so it's easy for people to go everywhere, because it is really a big part of what Fernie is. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We I think 6 years ago we put in Polar Peak, which has definitely helped our avalanche control program, and it gets Curry Bowl and Lizard Bowl open way more regularly than before before they had access to do control work. Yeah, but it's interesting, and we love it. We get 500 new people every year that come to work here, and they always keep me on my toes. They tell me what to say and what phone to have and what to wear and what music to listen to, and so I'm always learning. It's great. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody last week who said, Mary, you remember when there was just the toe up there,
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, things have changed, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like every other resort in North America, I mean, the evolutions and the transitions from the society that started it, for basically for the labor pool to have recreation, right? For all the staff that worked at the mines to have recreation, and I met Mr. McDonald from the lumber mill that cut all the runs before he passed, because Mike Delich and I, Mike did all the work, but we had the Wall of Fame, and I think Mike's talking about another induction lunch in March. But the Wall of Fame, we've had 2 events where people have been inducted into the wall here in Fernie of history in skiing, downhill skiing, the builders, of the founders, the athletes. So someone like Emily Bryden's on the Wall of Fame, and I believe Dave Ellis, who is he's still the program director again for Ski Cross Canada, and of course Heiko, one of the builders, and yeah, it's kind of fun, and there's a lot of history, and it's pretty interesting to see the evolutions, you know, in Heiko and Linda and their years, and how hard they worked to build it up, and you know, and then as Charlie Locke came along, and then Murray Edwards, you know, how you take care of the business and how you evolve it and make sure that it's stable, make sure you can pay your bills, and make sure you take care of people. So it's fun.
But there's lots going on in the summer too.
Yeah, well, Fernie, as you know, the summer in Fernie's exploded. Rado built the campground. There's a lot more RVs, and you know, now people take the Southern Highway with RVs, where before either you went to a provincial park, but they were usually sold out, so a lot of people just took Highway 1.
Yeah.
So now there's a chain, and you know, thanks to Rado and his entrepreneurship, there's a chain of RV parks that are growing all the way to Vancouver now. So there's a lot more families, a lot more recreational people. It's yeah, the summer here is amazing. All the fly fishermen and you know, women, whatever, and it's astounding.
Don't you still have the zip line up there?
We have the aerial park.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yeah, and inside the aerial park, there's two zip lines to get down. That's a 3-hour course where people play in the trees. They climb up and they wear harnesses and stuff, and they get to walk under the tree canopy, which is amazing. Yeah, there's an awful lot going on. Our mountain bike program is always growing, and our trail work is always growing. Yeah, it'll be fun. Last year, the timber chair was closed for the summer because we had to do a major, after 20 years, you had to do a major refurbishment of the gearbox and the calm line and the drives, the computer brains of the thing. And that work is all completed, and that'll be open again this summer, and we're looking forward to that. But the whole town is vibrant. You know, the whitewater rafting and people just hiking, and I think maybe the biggest activity now is people watching. And when you get to that point and people are just strolling up and down the street to watch other people, then you know you've reached some kind of place where it's going to be okay.
I tell you that when on a Sunday I can drive down Main Street and see people walking after years of Sundays being absolutely so quiet, that it still amazes me, and it's just so wonderful to see Fernie that vibrant.
Yeah, especially the young kids and young families. It's really fun, both skiing and mountain biking and just hanging out. I know a lot of people who own second homes here who never came here in the summer. They only came for skiing, and they now all come because there's so much to do.
Oh yeah, and now that they know how great Fernie is in the summer, they're saying, hey, maybe we should come here more often in the summer, and I think they do.
It's fun.
No, it's great. Fernie's doing really well, and it's wonderful to see. And it's due a lot to people like you that have come and have worked and are making things happen in Fernie.
Well, it's a pleasure. The community's great. Yeah, like you say, the volunteers. I mean, I think about all these guys that made that summer happen. You know, like and Heiko's Trail, and you know, Pat Gilmore and Terry Nelson and Trails Alliance, and all those people who work so hard.
Yeah.
And you know, and the entrepreneurs like Blair Craig with his raft company, and it's just really fun. And Rado stepping up with the RV park's now full, and yeah, that brings a lot of people. Yeah, it's a really wonderful place.
It really is.
Yeah. We're blessed.
We are. That's how I feel.
Thank you.
Andy, thank you so much for agreeing to come and chat with me about the life and times of Fernie.
The life and times.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you for joining us.
Say hi to Nick.